The distorted feminine versus the divine feminine. The concepts of the distorted feminine and divine feminine are archetypal representations of different expressions of feminine energy. These archetypes are not limited to women. They exist within all individuals, regardless of gender. Understanding these archetypes can help us recognize the patterns and behaviors that either diminish or enhance our personal growth, emotional well-being, and spiritual connection. Distorted feminine. The distorted feminine represents an imbalance in the expression of feminine energy. This imbalance often stems from past traumas, societal conditioning, and the suppression or misalignment of true feminine qualities. The distorted feminine can manifest in various ways, leading to behaviors and patterns that are unhealthy or unproductive. Characteristics. Insecurity. Individuals exhibiting distorted feminine traits often seek validation from external sources. They may feel unworthy or lack self-confidence, leading them to constantly seek approval or affirmation from others. This insecurity can result in a lack of trust in oneself and one's abilities. Over-emotionality. The distorted feminine can become overwhelmed by emotions, which may lead to irrational or erratic behavior. This over-emotionality is often a result of repressed feelings that erupt uncontrollably. Instead of processing emotions in a healthy way, individuals may react impulsively or melodramatically. Manipulation. Manipulative behaviors, such as emotional manipulation or passive aggressiveness, are common in the distorted feminine. These tactics are used to control situations or people, often stemming from a place of fear or insecurity. Manipulation can create toxic dynamics in relationships and hinder authentic communication. Self-sacrifice. While nurturing is a natural aspect of feminine energy, the distorted feminine can take this to an unhealthy extreme by neglecting personal needs. This self-sacrifice often leads to burnout, resentment, and a diminished sense of self. Individuals may prioritize others to the detriment of their well-being. Dependency. The distorted feminine may rely heavily on others for happiness and security, lacking a sense of autonomy. This dependency can manifest as clinginess, neediness, or a fear of being alone. It prevents individuals from developing self-reliance and personal strength. Victimhood. A key aspect of the distorted feminine is the identification with being a victim. This mindset involves feeling powerless and blaming others for one's circumstances. It perpetuates a cycle of helplessness and prevents individuals from taking responsibility for their lives. Divine feminine. The divine feminine embodies the highest expression of feminine energy, characterized by balance, wisdom, and compassion. This archetype represents qualities that are nurturing, intuitive, and deeply connected to the heart and spirit. The divine feminine empowers individuals to embrace their true selves and live authentically. Characteristics. Self-love and worth. The divine feminine recognizes and honors one's intrinsic value. Individuals embodying this energy embrace self-love and self-respect, understanding that their worth is not dependent on external validation. This self-assuredness allows them to set healthy boundaries and make choices aligned with their true selves. Emotional balance. In the divine feminine, emotions are expressed in a healthy and balanced manner. Individuals are in tune with their feelings and can articulate them without being overwhelmed. This emotional intelligence fosters deeper connections with others and allows for compassionate communication. Empowerment. The divine feminine uses nurturing energy constructively to uplift oneself and others. This empowerment is not about control, but about inspiring growth and healing. It encourages individuals to step into their power and take responsibility for their lives. Healthy boundaries. Understanding the importance of setting limits is a key trait of the divine feminine. Individuals know when to give and when to prioritize their own needs, maintaining a healthy balance between self-care and caring for others. These boundaries are essential for maintaining emotional and physical well-being. Independence. The divine feminine embraces autonomy, recognizing that true happiness and fulfillment come from within. Individuals with this energy take responsibility for their own lives, making decisions that reflect their authentic desires and values. This independence allows them to form healthy, interdependent relationships rather than codependent ones. Empathy and compassion. A hallmark of the divine feminine is a deep sense of empathy and compassion for oneself and others. This energy fosters healing and connection, as individuals are able to see beyond superficial differences and connect with the shared humanity in all people. Compassionate actions and thoughts are central to this archetype. To summarize, understanding the distorted feminine and divine feminine provides valuable insights into our own behaviors and patterns. By recognizing the traits of the distorted feminine within and without, we can work towards healing and transforming these aspects into the balanced and nurturing qualities of the divine feminine. This journey is not only about personal growth, but also about contributing to a more compassionate and understanding world. Archetypal representations. Archetypes are symbolic representations of universal patterns and energies that exist within the human psyche. The distorted feminine and divine feminine archetypes represent different expressions of feminine energy. By exploring these archetypes, we can gain a deeper understanding of the qualities we embody and the areas where growth and transformation are possible. Distorted feminine archetypes. The martyr. The martyr archetype represents self-sacrifice to an unhealthy degree. This archetype often puts others' needs above their own, leading to a sense of depletion, resentment, and burnout. The martyr may feel unappreciated or taken for granted, as their sacrifices often go unnoticed or unacknowledged. The challenge for those embodying the martyr archetype is to recognize their own needs and value self-care. This involves setting boundaries and learning to say no, as well as understanding that self-sacrifice is not a requirement for love or validation. The seductress. The seductress uses her sexuality to manipulate or gain power over others. This archetype often seeks validation through physical attractiveness or sexual conquest, which can lead to a cycle of feeling empty or unfulfilled. The seductress may believe that her worth is tied to her ability to attract and seduce others. The seductress archetype needs to develop a sense of self-worth that is not dependent on external validation. This involves embracing and honoring one's sexuality in a healthy and empowering way, and recognizing that true power comes from within, not from manipulating others. The victim. The victim archetype embodies a sense of powerlessness and blames others for their circumstances. This archetype often feels helpless and stuck, avoiding responsibility for their own life. The victim may struggle with feelings of self-pity and resentment, believing that life happens to them rather than for them. To transform the victim archetype, individuals need to reclaim their personal power and take responsibility for their own lives. This involves shifting from a mindset of victimhood to one of empowerment, where they recognize their ability to influence their circumstances and make positive changes. Divine feminine archetypes. The goddess/mother. The goddess/mother archetype embodies nurturing, loving, and life-giving qualities. She represents unconditional love, support, and compassion. This archetype is deeply connected to the cycles of life and nature, often symbolizing fertility, creativity, and the nurturing of life in all its forms. The goddess/mother offers the gifts of nurturing and unconditional love, providing a safe and supportive space for growth and healing. She inspires others to connect with their own creative and nurturing capacities. The High Priestess. The High Priestess archetype represents intuition, wisdom, and spiritual insight. She is deeply connected to the spiritual realm and serves as a guide to inner wisdom and knowledge. The High Priestess embodies the mysteries of the unknown and encourages others to trust their intuition and inner guidance. The High Priestess offers the gifts of inner wisdom and spiritual connection. She helps others to access their intuition and navigate the depths of their subconscious mind, revealing hidden truths and insights. The Warrior Woman. The Warrior Woman archetype is strong, assertive, and protective. She stands for justice, integrity, and the protection of the vulnerable. The Warrior Woman balances strength with compassion, using her power to defend what is right and just. She embodies courage, resilience, and determination. The Warrior Woman offers the gifts of strength and protection. She empowers others to stand up for themselves and others, advocating for justice and fairness. She encourages courage and resilience in the face of challenges. Conclusion. Understanding these archetypes helps us to recognize and integrate the various aspects of feminine energy within ourselves. The distorted feminine archetypes provide insight into areas where we may be out of balance or disconnected from our true essence, while the divine feminine archetypes inspire us to embody the highest expression of feminine qualities. By exploring and embodying these archetypes, we can cultivate greater self-awareness, healing, and empowerment in our lives. Self-reflection segment. In this segment, we will delve into a series of introspective questions designed to help you identify where you may embody the distorted feminine or divine feminine archetypes. Self-reflection is a powerful tool for personal growth and transformation, allowing you to become aware of patterns and behaviors that may not serve your highest good. By asking yourself these questions, you can gain insights into your current state and identify areas for positive change. Questions for self-reflection. In what areas of my life do I feel insecure or unworthy? Reflect on moments when you seek external validation or feel inadequate. Are there specific situations or relationships where these feelings are more pronounced? How can I cultivate a sense of self-worth? Consider practices such as affirmations, journaling, or seeking support from a therapist or coach. How can you affirm your value and build confidence in your abilities? How do I handle my emotions? Do you find yourself easily overwhelmed by emotions, or do you suppress them to avoid discomfort? Reflect on recent instances where your emotions have influenced your actions. Do I allow them to overwhelm me, or do I suppress them? Consider whether you experience emotional outbursts or if you bottle up feelings. What are the triggers for these responses? How can I achieve a balanced emotional state? Explore techniques like mindfulness, meditation, or emotional regulation exercises. How can you create a space to process your emotions healthily and constructively? Do I tend to manipulate situations or people to get what I want? Reflect on any patterns of behavior where you use manipulation, whether through guilt tripping, passive aggressiveness, or other means. How can I approach these situations with integrity and honesty? Think about ways to communicate more openly and directly. How can you express your needs and desires without resorting to manipulation? Am I taking care of my needs, or do I often sacrifice myself for others? Identify areas where you consistently put others' needs above your own, leading to feelings of exhaustion or resentment. How can I establish healthier boundaries? Consider what boundaries you need to set to protect your well-being. How can you communicate these boundaries to others in a respectful and clear manner? Do I depend on others for my happiness and security? Reflect on your relationships and identify any dependency patterns. Do you rely on others to feel validated or secure? How can I cultivate a sense of independence and self-reliance? Explore activities or practices that foster self-reliance, such as pursuing personal interests, setting personal goals, or developing self-care routines. How can you build a foundation of happiness that is independent of others? Do I often feel like a victim of circumstances? Consider moments when you feel powerless or blame others for your situation. How often do you find yourself thinking, why is this happening to me? How can I take responsibility for my life and empower myself? Reflect on ways to shift from a victim mentality to a more empowered mindset. What actions can you take to reclaim control over your life and decisions? To summarize, by engaging in these self-reflective questions, you are taking the first steps toward transforming any distorted feminine traits into the empowering qualities of the divine feminine. This journey involves honesty with oneself, a willingness to change, and a commitment to personal growth. As you explore these aspects of yourself, remember that the goal is not perfection, but progress and self-compassion. Embrace the process and celebrate each step you take toward a more balanced and empowered expression of your feminine energy, alchemizing distorted feminine into divine feminine. The process of transforming distorted feminine traits into divine feminine qualities is akin to alchemy, a journey of inner transformation that involves awareness, healing, and growth. This transformation is not about denying or rejecting parts of oneself, but rather embracing and transmuting them into higher expressions. Below are detailed steps to guide this alchemical process. Awareness and acceptance. Recognize and accept. The first step is to become aware of the distorted feminine traits within oneself, such as insecurity, manipulation, or self-sacrifice. It's essential to acknowledge these traits without judgment or self-criticism. Self-compassion. Understand that these traits often stem from past experiences, traumas, or societal conditioning. Approach this recognition with compassion, recognizing that everyone has aspects of themselves that require growth and healing. Healing practices. Meditation. Practice mindfulness and meditation to connect with your inner self and gain clarity on your emotions and thoughts. Meditation helps in calming the mind and creating a space for introspection. Journaling. Use journaling as a tool to explore your feelings and experiences. Write about moments when you've noticed distorted feminine traits in action and how they affected you and others. Therapy and counseling. Seek professional help if needed to address deeper wounds and traumas. Therapy can provide valuable insights and tools for healing and transformation. Energy healing. Explore modalities like Reiki, acupuncture, or chakra balancing to clear energetic blockages and restore balance. Self-care and self-love. Affirmations. Use positive affirmations to reinforce self-love and worthiness. Repeating statements like, "I am worthy of love and respect," can help shift negative self-perceptions. Healthy routines. Establish routines that prioritize your well-being, such as regular exercise, balanced nutrition, and sufficient rest. Nurturing activities. Engage in activities that nurture your soul, such as creative pursuits, time in nature, or practicing a hobby you love. These activities help to cultivate joy and fulfillment from within. Emotional mastery. Observation. Learn to observe your emotions without becoming overwhelmed by them. Notice how certain situations trigger specific feelings and how you typically respond. Mindfulness. Practice mindfulness techniques to stay present and centered, even in emotionally charged situations. This helps prevent reactive behavior and promotes thoughtful responses. Emotional intelligence. Develop skills in emotional intelligence, such as empathy, self-regulation, and effective communication. These skills enable you to express your emotions constructively and understand the emotions of others. Empowerment and sovereignty. Setting boundaries. Identify areas where you need to set boundaries to protect your well-being. This could include saying no to certain requests, limiting exposure to toxic environments, or prioritizing your own needs. Autonomous decisions. Make decisions that align with your values and desires, rather than seeking approval or validation from others. This empowers you to live authentically and with integrity. Taking responsibility. Embrace responsibility for your happiness and life circumstances. This involves moving away from a victim mentality and recognizing your power to influence and create positive change in your life. Embracing feminine wisdom. Intuition. Cultivate a deeper connection with your intuition by paying attention to your inner voice and gut feelings. Intuition often provides insights that are not accessible through rational thought alone. Creativity. Embrace creative expression as a means of connecting with your feminine energy. Whether through art, music, writing, or dance, creativity is a powerful channel for self-discovery and healing. Nurturing energy. Nurture yourself and others with compassion and empathy. This includes caring for your physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being, as well as supporting and uplifting those around you. Conclusion. The journey from distorted feminine to divine feminine is a deeply personal and transformative process. It requires patience, commitment, and self-compassion as you navigate through the layers of conditioning and past experiences that have shaped your current state. By engaging in these practices, you can alchemize the distorted feminine traits into the divine feminine qualities, leading to a more balanced, empowered, and authentic expression of your true self. This transformation not only benefits you, but also contributes to a more harmonious and compassionate world.